She said she was at her mom's. That was the story. Delivered casually, like it was the most natural thing in the world. I'm staying at mom's for a couple of days, she'd told me, keys jingling in her hand, not even making eye contact. She's not feeling great, and I want to help her out, and I nodded. Because, well, who questions that? You don't argue with someone wanting to take care of their mother. I kissed her cheek, told her to drive safe, and watched her leave, telling myself not to overthink it. But then came the photo, a single photo, that detonated the whole lie. It was late that night, and I was scrolling absent-mindedly through social media, while the TV played some background noise, and there it was, her mom's profile. A fresh post, a sunny street, palm trees, a caption, finally made it. Can't wait to explore Barcelona. I stared at it for a good minute, my brain trying to process the contradiction. Barcelona, Spain, thousands of miles away, posted 6 hours ago, which meant her mom had been on a plane, not lying in bed, needing soup, and her daughter's care. So where the hell was my wife? My stomach twisted, my chest tightening as I read the caption again. The likes and comments were piling up, friends congratulating her mom on finally taking the trip she'd been planning for years. People asking about tapas, Gaudí's architecture, sangria, all very innocent. Except to me it was proof that my wife had lied straight to my face, without blinking. I didn't call her that night, didn't send a screenshot, didn't ask for an explanation. I just sat there in the glow of my phone, the hum of the TV fading, every memory of the last few weeks replaying in my head. The late nights, the sudden errands, the way she guarded her phone like it was made of gold, and every time I'd asked, she'd had an answer ready. You're overthinking again, babe. You really need to relax. Trust me. Trust. That word suddenly felt like poison in my mouth. The next morning, I played it cool, texted her a simple, "How's your mom feeling?" She replied almost instantly, "Better today. Still resting though. I might stay another night." I stared at the message, bile rising in my throat. She didn't just lie, she doubled down. While her mom was across an ocean, sipping wine in Spain, my wife was telling me she was tucking her into bed. I needed more than just a photo though. One piece of evidence was enough for suspicion, but I wanted certainty, something undeniable. So I waited, let her think I was none the wiser. Meanwhile I started pulling threads. First, I called her mom, not directly, but through her sister. "Hey, have you heard from your mom lately?" I asked casually, like I was just checking in. Her sister laughed. "Yeah, she's living it up in Barcelona. Sent us a bunch of pictures. She's so happy." Barcelona. Again, clear as day. I hung up, heart pounding, but face calm. Step 1. Confirmed. My wife wasn't where she said she was. Step 2 was finding out where she was. And that took patience. I didn't want to blow my cover by showing up somewhere unprepared. So I started watching her patterns. When she texted, how often, what excuses she leaned on. That Friday, she claimed her mom needed groceries. I knew that was a lie. So I drove, not directly to her mom's place, but around town, circling the areas she usually lingered. After half an hour I spotted her car, parked outside a small hotel, tucked just far enough off the main road that no one would notice unless they were looking. I pulled over a block away, my hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles whitened. And then I saw her, walking out the lobby doors, laughing. Not alone, with him. I didn't know him then. Tall, dark hair, casual button-down, average, ordinary, the kind of man who wouldn't turn heads in a crowd. But he was enough to make my stomach twist, enough to make my vision blur. She smiled at him in a way I hadn't seen in years, that soft, private smile she used to reserve for me. I snapped a photo. My hand trembled, but I held the phone steady. Evidence, undeniable. They walked to his car, not hers, and drove off. I didn't follow, not that time. I didn't need a car chase. I already had enough to confirm the truth. She wasn't at her mom's. She was with him, and she was bold enough to lie to my face, bold enough to drag her own mother's name into it. That night, she came home late, smelled like a different cologne, claimed her mom had been restless, and she'd stayed to help her settle. She kissed my cheek like nothing had happened, and I smiled back, forcing myself to play dumb, because exploding now would give her an escape route. a way to spin the story. But if I waited, if I gathered everything, and when the truth came crashing down, she wouldn't be able to crawl out from under it. So I collected more photos, screenshots of her messages, which she thought she'd hidden but synced across devices, receipts from her car again, hotel bar charges, takeout for two. Every piece of the puzzle clicked into place, and the more I collected, the colder I became. The love I thought I had for her began to fossilize into something else. Not hatred, not yet, but a kind of clarity, a recognition that the woman sleeping beside me wasn't the same woman I married. The breaking point came 2 weeks later, when her mom posted another photo, this time from Paris, standing under the Eiffel Tower, beaming. The caption read, "Dream come true." And the same night my wife texted me, "Mom's still not well. Might need me another few days." Paris, while she was at a hotel 20 minutes away with him. I sat there, phone in my hand, and something inside me finally hardened. This wasn't just infidelity. It was mockery. She thought I was that stupid, that gullible, that blind. And that's when I knew. She thought she was building a secret life. I was going to burn it down, brick by brick in front of everyone. But first, I needed to see how deep it went. And the deeper I dug, the darker it became. The deeper I dug, the darker it got. Once you start pulling on a loose thread, the whole sweater unravels faster than you'd think. Every memo I found, every receipt, every synced message she thought was hidden, it all pointed to one thing. This wasn't a fling. It wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a second life she was building, while still wearing a wedding ring in mine. I stopped asking myself why. Why him? Why lie? Why her mother as the cover story? I realized the why didn't matter anymore. What mattered was how. How I was going to dismantle this illusion she thought was so perfect. Because every betrayal has an ego behind it, and her ego was bigger than her guilt. She thought she could outsmart me. She thought she could smile in my face and laugh behind my back. She thought wrong. I kept my routine normal. Coffee in the mornings, quick kisses goodbye, dinners at home. She thought I was still in the fog. She thought I hadn't connected Barcelona with her hotel trysts. That was the advantage of patience. I got to watch her lie while holding the truth in my back pocket. The night I decided to move was a Friday. She texted me. She'd be at her mum's again by then. The story had become her shield for everything. I didn't reply. Instead, I drove to the hotel I'd seen her at before, parked 2 streets over, and waited. It didn't take long. At exactly 7:18, her car pulled up. She got out, fixed her hair in the reflection of the window, and walked inside with that same glow I hadn't seen in years. 10 minutes later, he arrived. Same casual jacket, same smug gait. He didn't even check his surroundings. Why would he? He thought the husband was clueless. I slipped inside the lobby, quiet as a shadow, and spoke with the front desk clerk. A quick bribe and a polite smile can go a long way. "Room 2014, the clerk whispered, sliding me a duplicate key. My stomach knotted, but my mind was steel. I didn't go in, not then. I stood outside the door, listening. Their voices carried her laugh, his low murmur, the sound of clinking glasses. I recorded it all on my phone. Not the act, but the ambience, the casual intimacy, the proof that this wasn't some innocent friendship. Then I left, calm, controlled, because a single ambush would end in shouting, tears, denials. But a well-timed reveal, that would end in silence, and silence cuts deeper than screams. The next week, her mom posted again, Rome this time, smiling at the Colosseum, the caption living the dream. And that night, my wife told me she was making soup for Mom. Rome. Soup. Lies. My anger didn't burn hot anymore. It burned cold, and cold anger is the kind you can shape into something sharp. I planned my moment for a Sunday. Church. Our community was tight, full of people who admired her, who saw her as the caring daughter, the faithful wife. She thrived on that image. She basked in their respect. That pedestal she stood on. It was the perfect stage. That morning, she dressed in her modest Sunday outfit, humming as she fixed her hair. She kissed my cheek and said, "See you there. I'm going early to help set up." I smiled, told her I'd meet her. What she didn't know was that I had prepared something special, a simple audio file, loaded onto my phone. Her laughter, her voice memos, her casual lines about how I'd never figure it out. And I had already spoken with the sound tech. Told him I had a surprise audio clip for fellowship. He didn't question it. Why would he? The hall was people chatting, sipping coffee, settling into their seats. She was up front, laughing with friends, glowing as always. And then I stood up, microphone in hand. "Before we start," I said, my voice calm, even, "I want to share something." She turned, her face curious, even a little proud, as if expecting me to say something sweet. But when I pressed play, her expression shattered. Her voice filled the room. Not her choir voice, not her polished public tone, her private voice, breathless, giddy. "He'll never find out. He thinks I'm at my mom's. God, he's so clueless." Gasps rippled through the hall. Heads turned. People froze, forks clattering onto plates. And she went pale, then flushed red, her hands trembling as she stepped forward. "Turn it off," she screamed, her voice cracking. "Please, turn it off." I didn't. Not yet. I let it play long enough for everyone to hear her mocking me, laughing about her double life, weaving her mother into her lies while her mom posted photos from Europe. When the recording ended, I slid the phone back into my pocket. She said I was overthinking. I told the room quietly, "Maybe you all can decide if I was." The silence that followed was heavier than any sermon. She broke first, collapsing into a chair, sobbing, muttering excuses. Her friends looked away. The pastor shifted uncomfortably. No one spoke to her. No one comforted her. I walked out, calm, steady, because my point had been made. The aftermath was brutal for her. Word spread fast. Within days, she was off the choir roster. Her so-called friends stopped answering calls. Her mother, blindsided, called me in tears, apologizing for being used as an alibi. I told her it wasn't her fault. As for the man, his life didn't stay intact either. His wife, yes, he had one, found out. She used the recordings in her own case. He lost his job when gossip spilled into his office. Last I heard, he was living in a rental far away, divorced, broke. The divorce between us was clean, thanks to Amanda, my lawyer. The evidence was overwhelming. I kept the house, the savings, everything that mattered. She walked away with boxes of clothes and a reputation in ruins. The last time we spoke, she showed up at the house, eyes hollow, voice trembling. "You didn't have to do it like that," she whispered. "You destroyed me." I looked at her for a long moment, before replying, "No, you destroyed yourself. I just let everyone hear it." She didn't argue. She just lowered her eyes, turned, and left. It's been months now. Sometimes I still hear her laugh, in my head, the way she mocked me, calling me clueless, saying I'd never figure it out. But it doesn't sting anymore. It reminds me that I wasn't crazy, that my instincts were sharp, that her lies weren't stronger than my patience. People still talk about that Sunday. Some say it was cruel. Some say it was justice. I don't care either way. What matters is that she'll never forget the moment her private laughter became public silence. She claimed she was at her mom's, but her mom was in Barcelona, then Paris, then Rome. And me, I was right here, watching, listening, waiting. She thought I was overthinking, but all I was doing was paying attention, and that made all the difference.